Hello, guys. Sorry, I know you waited on the weekends, day, Saturday and Sunday. We were preparing for Monday to Friday classes. We'll do Monday to Friday. Okay, guys. Do you know what is the topic today? It is romantic period. Me and Ankita are ready for you. Ankita?
Hi.
Right. So, everybody, get ready. Oh, that is poetry, Ankita. Everybody, get ready. Next study plan, day 4, romantic period. I hope everybody is joining us. It is going to be exciting. Ankita, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, big question. Tarang, who is this man? Identify the correct statement. The Enlightenment created the idea of imagination. Oh, yes, it is Immanuel Kant, I know. Immanuel Kant, the Enlightenment created the idea of imagination. Let us read everything, Ankita. The imagination as a rising element in thought propelled literature, aesthetics, philosophy, criticism. Everything was touched by imagination. A rising element in thought. It propelled literature, aesthetics, philosophy, criticism, religion, psychology into new regions because of enlightenment. लगता है correct है. The giants of the Enlightenment, John Locke and Shaftesbury. Oh, yes, Shaftesbury tha. Which Shaftesbury? Not the one Dryden attacked. It was another Shaftesbury. He was a writer. Shaftesbury, Hume, Kant, all extended the idea of imagination and appreciated its massive contribution to the new lease of life it offered to arts and literature. Arts and literature got a new lease of life. Arts and literature was promoted by this idea of imagination, and it was propounded by Locke, Shaftesbury, Kant, Hume. I think it's all correct. Hai na, Ankita?
Yeah, I think all of this seem to be true.
Yes, all of these are true. All these are true. Ta-da-dang. Okay, guys. Who hailed poetry as the first and last of all knowledge? It is as immortal as the heart of man. The first and last of all knowledge. It must be some romantic, right? Is it Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, or Keats? You two babies, your turn. Tell us the answer. Is it Wordsworth, Coleridge, Shelley, or Keats, Ankita? What do you think?
I think it's Wordsworth.
Oh, it is Wordsworth. Ankita said the correct answer. Good girl. So, Wordsworth hailed poetry as the first and last of all knowledge. Poetry was praised by Wordsworth. Do you know any other quote about Wordsworth, Ankita?
Yeah, he also called poetry as the breath and spirit of all finer knowledge.
Breath and finer spirit of all knowledge. Yes. And he also said it is a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings that results from emotions recollected in tranquility. Very good. And next question is, the Rowley poems is a collection of poems that Dash penned. Who penned it? Who wrote Rowley poems? He took the pen name Thomas Rowley, but what was the real name of the author? It was a pseudonym. Thomas Rowley was a pseudonym that he adopted by pretending to be a monk of the 15th century. Is it James Macpherson, Andrew Marvell, Thomas Chatterton, or William Wordsworth? One of the early romantics, Andrew Marvell. To nahi ho sakta. Andrew Marvell wrote about Flecknoe, I remember. But who among these wrote Rowley poems? This man committed suicide very early. You two babies know it. It is Thomas Chatterton. Ankita, do you know anything else about Chatterton? Do you remember which book is dedicated to Chatterton?
Yeah, I think it was Keats's Endymion.
That's right. It is John Keats's Endymion, dedicated to Chatterton. Chatterton was a, favorite child of all the romantics. Everybody cried for Chatterton because he committed suicide at a very young age. When he was only 17 years old, he committed suicide. Poor boy. Right. This servant, it's a character. This servant unearths a horrible truth about his master. Sounds like Gothic, right, Ankita? Look at this. All the options are also Gothic novels. This servant unearths a horrible truth about his master. The results of his curiosity prove calamitous, and he is forced to flee because of his knowledge. Which character is this? Is it Victor Frankenstein? Caleb Williams? I know, Caleb Williams is a character created by William Godwin. Is it Monk Ambrosio? Monk Ambrosio, do you know where from which book Ambrosio is? The Monk, isn't it? Who wrote The Monk, Ankita?
It was Matthew Gregory Lewis.
Correct. Matthew Gregory Lewis wrote The Monk, and he came to be called Gregory Monk Lewis. Did you know that? I edited the encyclopedia. Will I be known as Kalyani Encyclopedia Vallath? Oh, that would be a good name. And then who wrote Melmoth the Wanderer?
Charles Maturin.
Charles Maturin. This girl, Ankita, is awesome. She knows everything. Okay, now what is the answer? Do you know? You two babies, your choice. You can choose the option. The answer is Caleb Williams. It is about a servant unearthing a horrible truth about his master. What is the full title? Things as They Are, or Caleb Williams. Remember, in the upcoming net, you might get a question from Gothic romances. Read all the about the authors of the Gothic romances, and also you should know the plot line, etc. Important. Do you know, Ankita, who coined the term female Gothic?
Ellen Moores.
Ellen Moores in Literary Women. And do you know who wrote, what is post-colonial Gothic? Can you tell me the example? Name of any post-colonial Gothic, Ankita?
V.S. Naipaul's Guerrillas.
You said it. V.S. Naipaul's Guerrillas. Then Toni Morrison's
Beloved. Toni Morrison's Beloved.
Toni Morrison's Beloved. Very good. Did Margaret Atwood write any post-colonial Gothic?
Lady Oracle has Gothic tones. Lady Oracle, yeah.
Lady Oracle, yes.
Yeah.
Even that one, Robber Bride.
The Robber Bride, yeah. The Robber Bride, yes.
So, right. Gothic novels, important, guys. Next question to you. Obscurest night involved the sky. The Atlantic billows roared when such a destined wretch as I washed headlong from on board. Somebody is washed overboard into the ocean, and he's going to swim. Will he get saved? No. It is a dark transitional poem. Which of these is the poem? The Task, The Castaway, The Castle of Indolence? None of these. You two babies, in which of these do you have a sailor washed aboard? YouTubers are amazing. They know the answer. It is The Castaway. Ankita, who wrote The Castaway?
William Cowper.
That's right, William Cowper. Ankita, I think William Cooper is the pronunciation.
Cooper, yeah.
Yes.
Cooper.
Do you know who wrote The Task?
William Cooper.
William Cooper. Do you know who wrote The Castle of Indolence?
James Thomson.
James Thomson, that is right. Do you know who wrote none of these? I was just pulling Ankita's leg. Next question. Which pair among the following is wrongly matched? Sublime of terror. You know, this painting is an example of sublimity of terror. Did Edmund Burke coin that term? Egotistical sublime. Did Keats coin the term? Two consciousnesses. Did Wordsworth coin the term? Willing suspension of disbelief. I am sure Sade coined that term. Ankita, what do you think?
I think someone else coined this term. It was Coleridge, I think, who coined
Oh
this term.
my God, that's right. Willing suspension of disbelief is coined by Coleridge. Sublimity of terror means, when we're on a roller coaster, we are going like this. We are all terrified, but it's like a sublime feeling. Sublimity is related to displeasure and terror. Egotistical sublime is the opposite of what, Ankita?
Negative capability.
That's right. Egotistical sublime is the opposite of negative capability. Negative capability is when the author is not controlling the text. The author is capable of being in uncertainties, mysteries, and doubts. But egotistical sublime, like in Wordsworth, the author tries to control the text. Two consciousnesses. Do you know a poem where you see two consciousnesses, Ankita?
Yeah, I think it was in Tintanabe. Yeah.
Tintanabe. In Tintanabe, there is Wordsworth aware of himself as well as of Dorothy. You are aware of yourself as well as another being. That is called two consciousnesses. There is another term that Wordsworth coined. I'm sure our YouTubers know it. YouTube babies know it. It is spots of time. Spots of time. Sudden revelation, sudden visitation of imagination. Ankita, do you know who coined the term one life? Everything is one.
Coleridge.
That's right. Coleridge coined the term one life and willing suspension of disbelief. Very good. Amazing. Okay, next question. This work, which has contemporary portraits of stalwarts like Godwin, Wordsworth, Coleridge, etc., was published in 1825. I know this man. This is a romantic prose writer, looks like Hazlitt. Is it in Table Talk, The Spirit of the Age, Collections of the Lakes and the Lake Poets, or none of these? Where do you have portraits of these writers? YouTube babies, you know it. Portraits of writers. They're all people who had the spirit of the age. Yes, it is The Spirit of the Age by William Hazlitt. Table Talk is also by William Hazlitt. Ankita, do you remember who wrote Recollections of the Lakes and the Lake Poets?
It was Thomas De Quincey.
Correct. It is correct. Thomas De Quincey wrote, he met Wordsworth and Coleridge and wrote Recollections of the Lakes and the Lake Poets. After that, Wordsworth did not talk to him ever. Wordsworth got so angry because of this book about Wordsworth. He wrote De Quincey. De Quincey wrote an essay on murder. Tell me, Ankita, which one?
On murder, considered as one of the fine arts.
That's right. On murder, considered as one of the fine arts, is by De Quincey. Great. Ankita, what is the clue? What is De Quincey's work?
The English mail, the mail train,
The English mail coach.
The English mail coach,
English
yes.
mail coach. You said it. Good girl. Okay. The Spirit of the Age is by William Hazlitt. William Hazlitt wrote along with Leigh Hunt a book. Do you remember? I will give you a clue.
Table Talk.
No, Round Table.
Oh, Round Table. Yes, yes.
Round Table is by Hazlitt and Leigh Hunt. YouTubers told it. Said it. All right. William Hazlitt wrote the essay on gusto. On gusto. It's about energy. I think I have some gusto. Okay. Do you know which is the essay that William Hazlitt wrote about some Indians?
The Indian jugglers.
That's right. The Indian jugglers. The Indian jugglers. Very good, guys. Remember, Hazlitt is a favorite of net people. Lots of times we have had questions from Hazlitt. Oh, who is this? Which Austen character among the following got his success from the Napoleonic Wars? Is it Colonel Brandon in Sense and Sensibility? Is it Captain Frederick Wentworth in Persuasion? Is it General Tilney in Northanger Abbey, or George Wickham? In which novel do you have Wickham, Ankita?
In Pride and Prejudice.
Right. Okay, so what is the answer? Which is the character who got his success from Napoleonic Wars? YouTubers, I will give you a clue to YouTube babies. This man used to be in love with the heroine. The heroine rejected him. Later, he went to the Napoleonic Wars, got rich, came back. At this time, the heroine's family had lost all their money. Now, he is meeting the heroine again, but he is ignoring her. He is not being friendly with her. Instead, he is being very friendly with Louisa and Henrietta Musgrove. Our heroine is, no problem. This guy proposes to our heroine. Finally, they get married. Who is this, Ankita?
It is Captain Frederick Wentworth.
Very good. And who is the heroine?
Anne Elliot.
Anne Elliot. It is in Persuasion. Persuasion. You should watch these movies. You should visualize all these stories. You will remember easily. All right. Find time to spend with, studying English literature or any subject for that matter is like being in love. You have to find time for your lover, for your love. You have to be with him or her. You have to take care of your relationship. If you just don't care for English literature, if you don't spend time with English literature, you will not have a good relationship, guys. Get it from me. Next question. Ore, who is this? I found this caricature. The usefulness of the stage, the advancement and reformation of modern poetry, the grounds of criticism in poetry. These are all important critical works by whom? I will give you a clue. This is a playwright. Ayyo. Is it John Dyer, John Dennis, John Dryden, or John Fletcher? Ankita, what do you think? I will give you a clue. Wait.
Okay.
Because YouTube babies want a clue. This man wrote APS and Virginia. This man also said something about, which is an expression of the sublime. I fear, I tremble, he said about nature. And I will give you another clue, guys. Maybe he played tennis. I don't know. Okay, Ankita, now over to you.
I think it was John Dennis.
That is right. Okay. Somebody played tennis, wrote the usefulness of the stage, the advancement and reformation of modern poetry, the grounds of criticism in poetry. Now, will you remember? It is John Dennis who played tennis. What did John Dyer write, Ankita?
Gronger Hill.
It is a topographical poem, Gronger Hill. Can I ask you a one-word question, Ankita? What did John Dryden write?
He wrote many things.
Okay, you can say 10 of his works.
Okay.
Pick one.
Astrea Redux, Absalom and Achitophel, Macflecknoe, then Essay on Dramatic Poesy, then King Arthur of the British Worthy, then that The Tempest of the Enchanted Island, Preface to Fables,
Place. Say the place.
All for Love or the World Well Lost, A Marriage a la Mode,
One more.
The Conquest of Granada, Aurangzeb.
You said 11. Wow. Wow. Now all our YouTube babies are saying, what? Say that again. Oh my God. Okay, I will say. Dryden's first major work is heroic stanzas on the death of Oliver Cromwell. After that, he wrote Astrea Redux. Then Annus Mirabilis. These are early poems of Dryden. After the early poems of Dryden, Dryden wrote plays, starting from the Indian Emperor, the Wild Gallant, then Conquest of Granada, Tyrannic Love, Aurangzeb, Rival Ladies, finally, All for Love. And then at this time, he also started writing satires. He wrote 3 satires. They are Absalom and Achitophel, The Medal, and Macflecknoe. Along with these, he wrote 2 religious allegories, Religio Laici and The Hind and the Panther. Dryden also wrote critical essays. Essay on heroic poetry was there, heroic drama. Essay on satire is there, off dramatic poesy is there, preface to the fables is there, and many more. So this is, in a nutshell, about Dryden. Dryden is very important for NET, SET, and other exams. Next question. This work, inspired by the famous ghost story sessions with Percy Bysshe Shelley and Mary Shelley. Percy Bysshe Shelley, Mary Shelley, another man, they're all telling each other ghost stories. I have done this with my cousins. Have you done this, Ankita?
Yes.
At night, my cousins and me will all sit together and everybody will be asked to say some ghost story. I was the smallest. They were all bigger than me. And I would cook up some silly story because I didn't know any ghost story. Now, which is this work with elements of supernaturalism? This work was written by the author to purge his sense of guilt, which corresponds to the guilt of its protagonist, triggered by the death of his beloved. Which work is this, guys? Is it Cain, Sardana Palace, Manfred, or the Two Foscari? Ankita?
I think it can be Manfred.
Yes, Manfred is one of the famous plays by Byron. Byron wrote a lot of poetic plays. There are also other plays like Cain, Sardana Palace, the Two Foscari, Marino Faliero, the Dodge of Venice. Ankita, do you know, in which of these works did Byron pay homage to Goethe?
Sardana Palace.
That's right. And Goethe paid homage to Dryden. He included Dryden as a character called Euphorion. In which work, Ankita?
Dr. Faustus.
Hey,
Uh,
Goethe's Faust.
Faust. I said Dr. Faustus.
Yeah, Goethe wrote a two-part play called Faust. Very good. Next, this work, subtitled The Tale of Flodden Field. In Flodden Field, there was a famous battle. It is a historical romance in verse of 16th century Scotland and England. Which work is this? Is it Marmion, Ivanhoe, Kenilworth, or Rob Roy? All these are by Walter Scott, guys. Tell me now. I will give you a clue. This is a poem prescribed in CBSE. Many of you might have studied it. It is, you two babies, your turn. It is Marmion. Yes, Marmion is the answer. Marmion is about a man taking away his beloved and getting married to her, isn't it? Ankita, which of these works is set in Plantagenet, England?
Ivanhoe.
That's right. Ivanhoe. Ivanhoe is set in Plantagenet, England. There is a work based on Ivanhoe written by Thackeray. Do you know, guys? It is Rebecca and Rowena. Rebecca and Rowena are characters in Ivanhoe. And Ankita, in which period is Kenilworth set?
It's Elizabethan period.
Ta-da-dang! Correct. Hey, Elizabethan period. Ankita, which of Walter Scott's works is set during the Crusades?
The Talisman.
The Talisman is set during the Crusades. I hope you're all getting all these points, guys. All these writers are important. Oh, who is this young man? Who among the following had impulsively enlisted himself in the army under the name Silas Tomkin Comberbach? And you know what? His brothers had to go and buy him out of the army because this guy started crying, Amma, I don't want to be in the army. They are so disciplined. I want to go home. So brothers came and bought him. Who is this? Sade, Coleridge, Charles Lamb, or Leigh Hunt? Ankita knows it, I'm sure.
I think it was Coleridge. He was
Yes, it is indeed this young man who impulsively enlisted himself in the army. Who said so about Wordsworth? His poetry is the reality. His philosophy is the illusion. That means Wordsworth is better as a poet. Wordsworth's preface to lyrical ballads and philosophy is not that great. Is it Byron, Matthew Arnold, T.S. Eliot, or Jeffrey Hartman? Jeffrey Hartman is a Yale critic. Oh, is that the guy who said this, Ankita?
I think this quote sounds more like Arnold. I think it's Matthew Arnold.
Yes, his poetry is the reality. His philosophy is the illusion. Very good. Matthew Arnold it is. Which is the famous book by Matthew Arnold, Ankita?
Culture and Anarchy, Essays in Criticism.
Essays in Criticism and Culture and Anarchy is correct. He said culture is the study of
Perfection.
perfection. He said poetry is the criticism of
Uh,
poetry is the criticism of
I know
life.
it is like
Life.
Yeah, life.
Poetry is the criticism of life. I know, suddenly when you ask, you forget. He said the function of criticism is the elucidation of, complete the quote. No, that is T.S. Eliot. Wait. The function of criticism is to propagate the best that is dash.
The best that is thought and known in the world.
The function of criticism, according to Eliot, is to propagate the best that is known and thought in the world. T.S. Eliot said the function of criticism is elucidation of works of art and the correction of tastes. All right. That is Matthew Arnold, who said his poetry is the reality, his philosophy is the illusion, about Wordsworth. Great. What art thou, we not? What is more like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see, as from thy presence showers a rain of melody. These are lines from What art thou, we know not. Is it nightingale or skylark? To a skylark, to the skylark, to a skylark is by Shelley. To the skylark is by Wordsworth. Ode to a nightingale is by Keats. You have to help me, Ankita.
I think it sounds more like Shelley, so it can be To a Skylark.
What thou art, we know not. What is most like thee? From rainbow clouds there flow not drops so bright to see, as from thy presence showers a rain of melody. What ecstatic joy he feels at the singing of the skylark. It is indeed Shelley. It is Shelley who goes into these rapturous expressions. You're right. It sounds like Shelley. This poem is subtitled a pastoral poem. Oh, there is a shepherd and a lot of sheep. I know. It is a pastoral poem in blank verse delineating the tragic life of a shepherd who lived upon the forest side in Grasmere Vale. Which poem is this? The Idiot Boy, Michael Nutting, Peter Bell. You two babies, you are saying the correct answer, I'm sure. Let me check out. It is about an old farmer who is waiting for his son, Luke, who has got corrupted in the city. It is indeed Michael, who has been alluded to in the following lines. But now thy youngest, dearest one has perished, the nursling of thy widowhood, who grew like a pale flower by some sad maiden cherished and fed with true love tears instead of dew. He fed with true love tears. Who is this youngest, dearest? Is it Arthur Henry Hallam in Memoriam, Keats in Adonai, Arthur Hugh Clough in Tiresias, Edward King in Lycidas? Certainly not Lycidas. This is not classical. It must be, I will say. Shall I guess? But now thy dearest, youngest one. It is definitely romantic. It is not Arnold. Arnold is classical. It is Keats. Keats in Adonai, Shelley's Adonai, who is described thus. It is so romantic, right? It is not classical. Nah, I could guess it. What is seen here? Which place among the following is full of false luxury, where man can live jollily, only for a little time? Is it Castle of Otranto? Castle of Indolence, the deserted village, or London? You two babies, guess karo. It is written by James Thomson. It is the Castle of Indolence, a place described as full of false luxury where man can live jollily only for a little time. World-weary travelers are coming to the Castle of Indolence. And then what happens? And then the wizard of arts and industry is saving them. This is James Thomson's Castle of Indolence, the same guy who wrote The Seasons. This is a satiric, picturesque novel. Protagonist is what you see here. It is in verse, which details the naive hero's travels. The hero is so naive, he is being seduced by women. And his accidental adventures in love and life. You guessed it right, guys. It is Don Juan by Byron. Ankita, tell me, to whom was Don Juan ironically addressed? Dedicated. He was trying to attack that author by dedicating Don Juan to him.
I think it was...
Your time is out. It is Sade. Robert Sade. He was attacking Robert Sade by dedicating it to Robert Sade. Who among the following condemned Warren Hastings in the impeachment of Warren Hastings? That is the essay. For his misconduct during his time in Calcutta. This person is attacking Warren Hastings for his misconduct during his time in Calcutta, particularly relating to mismanagement and personal corruption. Is it Thomas Paine, Edmund Burke, Thomas Love Peacock, or Shelley? Who made a famous speech in India against Warren Hastings? YouTubers, you know it. It is Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke. Hey, Ankita, we talked about a term that Edmund Burke coined earlier. What was that?
Sublimity of terror.
That's right. Edmund Burke coined the term sublimity of terror. And orangutan called Sir Oran-Houghton. I just put a real man here, but it's actually orangutan in the play. Is put forward as a candidate for election as a member of parliament. It is by Thomas Love Peacock, I guess. Who wrote? Which is the work? Is it Nightmare Abbey, where an orangutan is put forward to contest in the election? Is it Melincourt, Headlong Hall, or Maid Marian? Guess karo, everyone. Type in the chat box. It is Melincourt. Melincourt. Can you tell me, Ankita, another work written by Thomas Love Peacock?
The Four Ages of Poetry.
The Four Ages of Poetry, which inspired Shelley, which provoked Shelley rather to write The Defense of Poetry. Very good, very good. Jane Fairfax is an orphan and a character in Dash. She gets married to Frank Churchill. Is it Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, or Northanger Abbey? You two babies, your take. You can say the answer. It is Emma. Correct. Ankita, who is the character Emma is trying to get married?
Harriet Smith?
Yes, Harriet Smith is correct. Very, very good. Ankita, where is Emma set?
It's in Highbury.
That is right. Again, Highbury. Last question, I think. Identify the correct statement. The imagination of Coleridge is Coleridge considered either primary or secondary. Such hai na? Correct hai. The primary imagination he held to be the living power and prime agent of all human perception. It is a repetition in the finite mind of the eternal act of creation in the infinite I am. Repetition in the finite mind. I think it is correct. For Coleridge, secondary imagination is an echo of the primary imagination, coexisting with the conscious will. Yet it is identical with the primary as a kind of agency, differing only in degree. It is like primary imagination, but different in degree. Primary imagination is like this. Secondary imagination is like this. Differing in degree. Intense secondary imagination. I think all are true. What do you think, guys? Tell me in the chat box. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, all are true. Amazing. Wonderful. Oh, one more question. Which among the following is not a work by Coleridge? This is Coleridge. Sibylline Leaves, The Devil's Thoughts. Oh, Hymn Before Sunrise, Hymn to Intellectual Beauty. Ankita?
Hymn Before Sunrise. 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 Hymn Bef I think it was Hymn to Intellectual Beauty. It's by Shelley, not Coleridge.
Correct, you said it. Hymn to Intellectual Beauty is one of the early poems of Shelley. You are right, amazing. Very good. So that brings us to the end of this discussion. I hope you have got a lot of important authors from the Romantic period. I hope you will read upon them. I hope you will remember these questions. You can watch the video again. I had promised you one thing, that I will give you the PDF in the Telegram group. Have you all joined the Telegram group? If yes, I will give you. To join the Telegram group, click the link in the description of the video. All right. It is there in the description of every video. And there are hundreds of PDF in our Telegram group. If you have not joined, now is the time. Ankita, did you enjoy the session?
Yeah, I loved it. It was very exciting and I got to know so many things, so many works and authors. It was lovely.
I am glad that you are also studying well. You're remembering well. Ankita has cleared net and she's preparing for JRF. Aren't you, Ankita?
Yeah.
All the best, everybody. You're all amazing. You're all learning a lot. I'm proud of you all. And Ankita, you deserve to get JRF this time. You're getting it along with a lot of other students of ours. Everybody is studying so well. Proud of you all. God bless you all. I'll be back with more. Bye-bye.
Bye.